Now back to Richard Cloutier reports on CJOB.
Lots ahead. DJ Hunnicutt and DJ Co-op are with us here on the Super. Now, I don't get this guy. You're saying that hip-hop lyrics are not as bad, or hockey is far more violent than hip-hop music? Explain.
Yeah, that's how we feel. We feel that of the two, we feel that hockey is a much worse influence on our kids than rap.
A worse influence on our kids than rap?
Absolutely, because when kids see hockey players acting like goons and thugs, they want to go out and emulate that. When they listen to 50 Cent or T.I., they know that it's a song. They know that they can't go out and do that. But they see a hockey player, they're going to go out and try and do that.
And plus, mom and dad are right along next to them cheering them on. So I mean, it's sort of bred within the family that that's what's done.
Hunnicutt and Co-op will take your calls coming up. Lots of other issues later. The health minister on training more doctors. This is RCR.
CJOB 68.
DJ Hunnicutt, DJ Co-op join us on CJOB 68. And I'd like you to weigh in on what they have to say at 780-6868, pound 680, toll free on MTS Mobility, 1-800-665-2202. Because I get what they're saying. If you don't get what they're saying, you can challenge it. And it is challengeable, simply because, my kids play hockey, and they see some of the violence in the sport, and as an adult, I make sure that I tell them what is a good component of this sport, what is not a good component of this sport. And although I do believe at times fighting has a place in hockey, generally that's not what I believe hockey is all about. I believe in the competition, the sport itself. But having said that, and I don't portray myself as an expert of hip-hop or an expert of the lyrics, but I do know what I listen to, and when I hear explicit material, I don't want my kids to be exposed to that, even though I know through the web and through their friends and everything else, they will be exposed to it. Now, on the one hand, journalistically, I'm in favor of that freedom. I will go to the nth degree to protect your right to be able to say what you want to say. But also, as a parent, when you weigh in on these issues, I also want to shelter at times my kids from what's being put out there. So, having said that, what do you guys bring to the table? You guys are local DJs. You just got back from what, Minneapolis?
Yeah, we did a show in Minneapolis and Chicago. That's right.
Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
We throw dance parties, and both Co-op and I have been DJs in the hip hop vein, but we also play everything that falls under that umbrella, funk and disco and reggae, for 10-15 years now. And just recently in the last couple of months, I've been thinking a lot about, since I spoke to you last, actually, Richard, hip hop and hockey, and just of the two, I just feel that hockey, especially just being encouraged by our culture and by our media, is a far worse influence on our kids.
Why? Why? Explain.
Okay, yeah, sure. When we do our events, we're always looking for a different way to make it more exciting for ourselves and everyone else. So we decided on this Western tour, we're going to be taking this message with us as well as DJing. And the reason we feel this way, the main one is that hockey is something that kids can actually do. They can emulate it. It's something that's actually happening. They'll watch a fight, and then they'll go out and play hockey and want to do that themselves. And it's encouraged, and the parents are right there with them. Whereas hip hop, if you listen to the lyrics, you're just listening to a song. You're listening to a guy telling a story about something that's happened. And most of these lyrics, I mean, these are realistic lyrics, and there's always a recourse. If you listen to a Notorious B.I.G. or a Scarface song, sure, they'll talk about how they had to shoot some guy because they were in a gang fight with him, but half the time they'll talk about how, their friend got shot or some guy went to jail. It's realistic. Hockey, what happens if you smash some guy's face into the board from behind? You might get suspended for a day, and you're still going to be collecting, your $1 million paycheck at the end. It's not, there's no morality involved in it.
You bring up the Scarface culture, though. When I've talked to police officers here, and one in particular who said, I can't count the number of times I've gone into drug busts, and I see the Scarface poster, and, these are their idols. And I think, and he certainly thinks, that promotes the drug culture. And that there's a whole body that promotes the drug culture. How can that be right?
Yeah, I think maybe looking at it backwards. Hip-hop is an art form that expresses what is happening in the world. These guys are going to be drug dealers, whether or not there's, Notorious B.I.G. and Scarface movies out there. The hip-hop art and the hip-hop style movies, they're just a reflection of what's actually happening. So, of course these guys are going to be into Scarface the movie because they're drug dealers. The drug dealing comes first. They didn't see Scarface and decide, boy, maybe I should become a drug dealer. They're drug dealers because they want to
getting a bad rap.
Music's getting a bad rap. That's right. People who are, scumbags who are dealing drugs, which I would never in a million years condone, they might identify with some of that music. But it's not the music that's causing any of that. The music is just a reflection of what's happening.
And in some cases, your argument is parents know what's happening in hockey. They're there, they're promoting it. They don't understand hip-hop lyrics. They don't take the time to drill down and think about it and ask their kids about it and ask the questions other than reacting to the superficial, like a generation reacted to Elvis Presley, another generation reacted to Iron Maiden. Every generation not understanding the next one below them.
Sure.
Correct?
The parents don't want the kids. Between the two, I'm sure most parents would want their kids to grow up to be a professional hockey player and not a professional rapper. They just don't encourage, rap at all. Whereas they take their kids to the hockey game, and I was at a Moose game a couple weeks ago, and everybody just stands up and goes crazy because the hockey games are quite uneventful. Everybody loves the fights. Everybody just goes bananas for the fights. You see mom and dad up there rooting. Right along with their kids, just screaming for this one fella to beat up the other fella.
So your bottom line is hockey is more harmful to our kids than hip hop.
I would say so. Yes,
absolutely.
780-6868 pound 680 is toll free on MTS Mobility. 1-800-665-2202. Do you agree or disagree with our guests? Our lines are open. Your views coming up.
The Superstation.
DJ Hunnicutt, DJ Co-op, and this is Kyle on CJOB 68. Hey, Kyle.
How's it going?
Good. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just calling to elaborate on the whole hockey versus hip-hop thing. The thing is we can't pretend that hip-hop doesn't respect, that they do respect women. And the thing is I know a lot of people who do watch Scarface, Rise to Power movies, and they do think to themselves that this is the lifestyle that they want. I mean, we got Curtis 50 Cent Jackson out there with a movie that says get rich or die trying. I mean, this is something that we have to look at. We've got rappers out there whose names are Tony Yayo after, cocaine. This is something that children are seeing and they want to look up to. I mean, yes, they do have friends who pass away. My friend Philip Hayart was shot in this city in 2005 because of a gang war. And, I mean, these people come here and they assume that, hey, I'm going to get some guns, some drugs, and start making money. And you know what? It is part of the hip-hop world nowadays. It's not hip-hop when it was first originally created was for soul, was, like you said, to tell a story. But nowadays it's actually just becoming more of a money, drugs, and disrespecting women kind of thing. And
Kyle, great points. I want you to address, and DJs Hunnicutt and Co-op want to talk to you. Go ahead.
Now, Lyle, would you say that hockey is 100% people beating up other people and other people like Chris Simon, hammering on other people like baseball-style swings against their head? I would say that is what hockey is entirely. Isn't that what hockey is entirely? That's all it is.
No, it's not.
Right?
See, the thing is with hockey, it's an organized sport. It's very rough, and it has rules and regulations.
And those incidents are very rare.
Right.
Yes.
No, it's very really because my opinion on hockey is that's what it is 100% of the time only. I swear that hockey is only that.
And if it was up to the NHL, it would be 100% violent because that's how it's marketed.
Right.
They're marketing it to the 18 to 35-year-old violence-loving video game
guys even skate?
We both played
hockey for 11 years.
I love skate. I skated on the river. I think hockey's a great game. I think the way it is right now, it's disgusting and it's sick, and it is
okay. Address what Kyle is saying about degrading lyrics and about how it treats women.
Oh, well, heck, if I was, watching a hockey game the other day, if I was an impressionable young youth, I would say that based on the commercials I was watching during a hockey game, women are the people that wear less clothes and bring me the beer. That's what I would say.
You're not defending it, you're attacking something else.
The thing is that we exploit these women. These women obviously have no problem being exploited with the amount of money that's probably in favor towards them. But you can't try to tell me that with an organized hockey game and an organized, regulated fight, that something's going to go wrong. We got people out here carrying guns and shooting people. My friend was murdered in this city, and they're all part of like the hip hop world. I've seen these people. I understand what they're trying to get across. They have this rise to power thought in their head.
Right.
Okay, Kyle, and I know that's your personal experience here, but take that and make your argument towards the lyrics and some of the music that you're talking about, and how that can influence a generation in your view. Because our guests are saying that that's not happening, and frankly, hockey is more harmful in our youth than that. These guys would have been drug dealers anyway, whether hip-hop existed or not.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that. I agree that they would be drug dealers no matter what. But I do think that having people out there with drug-related names, drug-related topics, and very, very disrespectful lyrics, that when somebody listens to that and enjoys the music and enjoys the song and enjoys walking around talking about basically hurting people and disrespecting people, then that's a problem. Hockey is something that has been organized, and if a fight happens, it's regulated, it's watched, and they're penalized for it.
Right, what do they penalize? What do they get, a 5-minute major or something?
Yes, they do.
Some grown up men beating each other over the head, taking baseball swing style hits at their. Listen, Lyle, what we'll do is we'll agree that
Kyle, by the way.
Oh, sorry. We'll agree that hockey is only about violence and beating each other up. I'll agree that rap is only about drugs, and then we're even. How about that?
And personally, I enjoy hip-hop, and I enjoy the right type of hip-hop, but the problem is that we're coming out with the mainstream idea of what hip-hop is, and it's really having a detrimental effect, I think.
780-6868, pound 680, toll-free on MTS Mobility, 1-800-665-2202.
This is Richard Cloutier reports on the Superstation, CJOB 68.
DJ Hunnicutt, DJ Co-op. Email at cjob.com. Richard, these guys have been listening to rap too long. What a load. I'd sooner have my child playing hockey and getting into the old odd fight than trying to figure out how to get a gun to shoot a cop or how to get coke. Grow a brain, guys. Look what it's done to you. Sincerely, Rick. This is Greg on CJOB 68. Good morning, Greg.
Hi there.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say that having played hockey and having been into hip-hop and everything, that personally, I feel that hip-hop has more of a negative effect on the generation today. Because when you look at hip-hop, basically the message that you can get from any different hip-hop artist is that if you want money, you basically just go get a gun, you get drugs, and you work that way. Whereas hockey, you have to develop your body, and you have to work hard to get to an extreme level to perform. And with the whole thing about fighting, in the hip-hop culture, if you have a problem with someone, you get a gun and you go kill them. Whereas in hockey, if you have a problem with someone, you drop your gloves, you fight them for about 30 seconds, where you can break their nose, or, that could be an extreme. Or you get Simon, who goes out and he's just a goon. But that's not hockey. He's an enforcer, and he's paid to do that stuff.
But our guests, I guess they're making the point that if that's not hockey, ultimately the what you're saying about guns and drugs and everything, that's not rap.
No,
that we can both highlight the isolated examples, the extreme examples, but in the mainstream, it's about storytelling for hip hop, and violence is a byproduct of hockey, but it's not the reason why people play hockey.
But you consider lyrics that say, I get money, I sling drugs.
And some of the lyrics we can't even play because they're that offensive.
Exactly. And
that's the big difference, though, Greg, is that they're lyrics, and it's a storytelling art form, and whereas I'm actually watching a hockey game, people behave in a sociopathic manner. They're actually behaving, repeatedly, time and time again. How many times was Simon? 8 times that he's been suspended in the course of his career? I would say that that's sociopathic behavior. So, and I'm actually witnessing that. I am actually seeing it happen. Whereas in a rap song, it's only a lyric, and you might say, "Hey, well, this is what rappers do. If they have a problem, they shoot somebody." But I've never witnessed that. I've listened to it in a story, but I've never actually witnessed it. Whereas time and time again, several times per game, when I watch a hockey game, I am witnessing grown men behave this way.
Greg, thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to move on to Wes on CJOB 68 on MTS Mobility. Hey, Wes.
Hi.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I think that what you see in hockey is parents standing on the sidelines encouraging their kids to be violent. And I think more so in the rap area, parents would encourage their children not to be violent.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. And that's what parents need to do. They need to appreciate the hip-hop for the art form that it is, for the storytelling that it is, recognize that some of it comes from actual life experiences from people who grew up in black urban areas in America. Those are the stories that they tell, because that's the stories they experience. Maybe not them themselves, but that's what that storytelling is about. So you're absolutely right. If parents are listening to those lyrics and saying, this is a good song, listen to how 50 Cent rhymes this word with this word and tells this vivid story, and remember that it's just a story. And that, if the parents are actually there, with the kids saying, "Hey, great stick handling. Don't get caught up in the negative aspects. Sure, finish your checks, throw your weight around, but don't be."
But a 50 Cent. I don't know enough about him to know his history, but I do know enough that some of the drug culture is glorified here. Is that not correct? And is that a positive or a negative influence on our kids, in your view?
It could be a negative influence if it isn't handled properly, but the reason it's glorified is because that's part of the art of hip-hop. These people came up from nothing. Like you're talking about, the black African-American ghetto experience. Jay-Z said if you grew up with holes in your Zappa toes, you'd be celebrating the minute you were having dough. Like if you come up from nothing, of course you're going to be glorifying the fact that you finally got money, and it's a negative way to do it, but that's the art. Like that's what those
in what you do
about.
Do you explain those stories? Like you're doing that today, but do you explain it into the kids and the teenagers and the young adults that absorb this? Do they understand the context of it? I would say to you that not all the time they do. They hear the provocative stuff out of that, and they adopt that as opposed to the storytelling concept of it.
They don't always understand it, and sometimes it has a negative effect on them. But our point is that in the case of hockey, parents are encouraging kids to play hockey and encouraging them to be violent, or not encouraging to be violent, but it's being supported. The entire hockey culture is being supported, whereas in rap, it's actually it's not actually being endorsed by the family structure, by the Canadian culture, or by the media. Whereas in all three senses, that is being supported in hockey.
780-6868, pound 680 is toll free on MTS Mobility, 1-800-665-2202. This is Brent on the Superstation. Hey, Brent.
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Hockey has its violent side, and do we need to clean that up? Absolutely. But so does the hip-hop and rap music. They have people out there, and, who write the songs who do nothing but glorify the negative side of the life, the drug lifestyle, and, hey, going to get myself a gun and drugs and make a lot of money and pee on everybody else, Forget it. And the thing is, hockey does have its great and terrific side. You don't have to look any further than Sid Crosby or Jonathan Toews. I mean, they're exciting to watch these guys play. And even our local Moose product has some, what's the young guy? Shannon. I get excited watching that guy move up and down the ice and the way he plays. Anyone who knows anything about hockey truly appreciates it for the art form, not just the physical side.
Brent, thank you so very much. Who would you hold out, as far as a rapper is concerned, that would be somebody that anybody could say, that's a role model. Positive influences all around, not negative.
Oh, there's countless.
Give me your top three.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Someone who's come up, been an incredible lyricist, and parlayed that into $1 million empire. He's been smart enough to take his lyrical skills and apply them in the business world. So there's one. And Kanye West is a good example of someone who's turned everything, who actually came up from nothing and actually has done a lot of it himself. I mean, he makes music, he writes incredibly crafty lyrics, and he's actually not afraid to actually kind of parlay that sort of success into saying some things that actually matter too. So.
This is CJOB 68, the Superstation.
68, the Superstation.
DJ Hunnicutt, DJ Co-op, and this is Steve on CJOB 68. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just a little confused. This hip-hop music, I was thinking if it's a legitimate music form, why do they even have to use subject matter like drug dealers and stuff, even if it is part of the past and history where the music came from? Seems to me a legitimate music form wouldn't have to talk about that. They could talk about something else.
Good question. Thank you, Steve. Go ahead, DJ Co-op.
That's a great question, Steve. And the hip hop lyrics are about all kinds of topics. I mean, just as Hunnicutt and I are focusing on the goons and not the Sidney Crosbys. A lot of people calling in are focusing on the negative lyrics in hip-hop, but of course there's hip-hop lyrics about all sorts of topics. You listen to Kanye West, for example, he'll talk about people's materialistic tendencies, or just hip-hop lyrics about anything. But the violence and talking about some of the street life, that's part of the culture, and so that's included with it. Another thing to note is in all of these songs, there always in the song is something about the ramifications of your actions. If someone's talking about how they had a friend who dealt drugs, most of the time they're talking about how that guy got shot, went to jail. So it's reality.
And your point is other people glorify it, not necessarily the artist.
That's right. Yeah, people listening to that, they can choose to take away what they want from it.
This is Ed on MTS Mobility on CJOB. Hey, Ed. Ed has left us. This is C4 on CJOB. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I think that hip-hop is, I'm not a big fan of hip-hop, but it doesn't really, I don't see it as glorifying violence or drug use any more than any other type of entertainment, whether it be movies, rock and roll, or anything. I truly think it's up to a person to make the educated decision of really what the message is.
And do you think a 12-year-old is equipped to be able to do that, C4?
Well, I think that I don't know where a 12-year-old is listening to this type of music. Where
you better believe they are.
I know they are, but where are the parents then that should be talking to their kids about this kind of stuff? It's really, I mean, it's no different from, from the movies glorifying revenge, if you Kill Bill. When you look at it, no one really wants to go and do that type of stuff, but it makes for a good, interesting plot in a movie. It's really up to people to monitor what their kids are listening to.
C4, I can't disagree with you. I think it's a great point, and when it comes to anything and everything in society, you absolutely have to do that. This is DJ Finn on CJOB 68. DJ Finn S, come on in here.
How you doing?
Good.
I'm a huge hip-hop fan. Obviously, that's what I do for a living. And just as big as that, I'm a huge, enormous hockey fan. And I'd like to say, basically, I agree a lot with the last caller. It is up to the parents. I grew up playing hockey, and the kids that acted, that didn't act right on the ice or played violently or did any of that, a lot of it had to do with the parents. And we used to listen to gangster rap before we went on the ice, and none of us ended up, picking up a gun or going out there and playing dirty. It was all up to the players. I went to a friend of mine's cousin's hockey game about a year ago, and I was disgraced at the parents that were yelling at the ref and screaming and
That could have been me too, you know. That could have been me up in the stands. I've been known to burst a blood vessel every once in a while.
This sounds to me like a real success story. You mean to tell me that you both played hockey and listened to violent rap lyrics, and you've never cross-checked someone right across the face, nor have you ever shot someone.
And DJ Finesse is one of the most successful DJs in Western Canada now. He's taken the hip-hop and the hockey influences, and has taken just the positive out of hip-hop, the entrepreneurial hustling aspect, and become an incredibly talented DJ.
This is Wayne on CJOB 68. Hey, Wayne.
Hi.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to comment before the hip-hop guys, they were talking about the hockey commercials, like degrading women. Well, I've never seen a hockey commercial where the hockey mom was grinding herself on a guy and shaking.
I'd like to see that commercial.
Well, I've seen many beer commercials that way.
One, but I've seen a lot of hip-hop ones that have that.
I see.
That's all I want to say.
No. The hockey moms are the ones that throttle other hockey moms in the stands. It's the beautiful young ladies that pass out the beer to the fellas watching the hockey.
Don is with us on CJOB. Hey, Don.
Hi. Hockey isn't the only sport, but I have a suggestion as an alternate. The doo-wop music that began in the 1920s and is being revised by PBS. All ages have watched it, and it's huge. For 8 years, PBS has run the doo-wop series, Soul and Inspiration, and it's Christian music, and it's got a beat to it.
Well, I love doo-wop music. Sure. Yeah. We're DJs that play all kinds of music. In fact, on Thursday, I'm doing a party of music all from the 50s. Doo-wop, rockabilly, early rock and roll. Yeah, we have respect for all kinds of music.
This is Jeff on CJOB 68. Good morning, Jeff.
Hi there. Yeah, I'm older, and I've had children that have gone through the music business. And so needless to say, I've been at a lot of music venues around town or outside of town. And it's obvious when there's hip-hop music on the menu that it's a different type of person going to that show. You can go to the most raunchy bar where they're playing rock and roll music and just be as safe as can be. Because you darn well be sure that people are there to listen to music. They listen to guitars, drums, bass. Where if you go somewhere like a hip-hop show, it's about posing. It's about sticking your chest out and wearing the right clothes and the right hat. It just tends to attract a crappier kind of people, I find.
So, gentlemen, it sounds like a nice someone with some nice clothes and nice. That sounds like a nice.
Really takes pride in how they appear.
They put a fancy outfit on, and so because of their sticking their chests out, what you're saying there is you don't feel safe at that environment.
Well, it goes without saying. Like if you look at the results they've had in the hip hop places, that's where all the violence occurs in Winnipeg when it comes to nightclubs, isn't it?
I don't know. Is that the case?
It seems like it. It sure does seem like it. Yeah.
So we're not too sure on that, but I think what's important to remember is that. People who like hip-hop music and are going to be going to those things, of course, the part of hip-hop culture is to do yourself up, look nice and really live the whole part of the hip-hop culture.
Guys, keep your elbows down. We'll see you on the ice.
Excellent.
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Rich.
This is RCR.